Hello and welcome to Kingdom Daughters Bible class. This week we are doing our seventh tribe of Israel, which is the tribe of Gad. So join us for study time. So ladies, what do we have for this week? I don't need to be seen. As long as I can do that. What do we have as it pertains to our own personal study and revelation? What do we get? Ayana, since you're refreshed.
I remember one part that I read about that when him and his tribe, they built an altar, and the Israelites thought that the altar was for burning offerings and sacrifices and things that would dishonor God. And they were getting ready to go to war with them because they said, you know, you shouldn't do this because it's disrespecting the Lord. Don't build this altar. And then,
Where was this at?
Let me see. This was, I think, let's see. Let me look in my Bible again. And so Gad, it was Reuben, Gad, and a third of the tribe of Manasseh, who said, they said this altar isn't for burning incense and sacrificing animals or anything. This is for a memorial altar to remind our descendants that it's okay that they're a part of God and that they're okay to worship God. And hold on one second, let me find out. Hold on a second. Joshua. Let me see.
Can I interject on that little part with Yana?
Yeah.
I think he built it also because that was one of Moses' rules, that they keep the covenant. And he just wanted them, Moses wanted the tribe to make sure that you keep the covenant.
Yeah.
Did I put that in Deuteronomy? I think I found that.
Yeah, it's in Joshua 22:10.
Damn.
So you finished?
Yeah, go ahead.
So when the Israelites found out what the purpose of the altar was for, they kind of said, "Okay, you're okay with us then." Yeah. So that their descendants, so that the descendants of the Israelites won't say that you're not a part of God, to the descendants of Gad, Reuben, and a third of the tribe of Manasseh. They wanted it to be a memorial altar.
Okay.
Half the tribe of Manasseh. Is it? Okay.
So Gad was Ziphlah's son, and that was Leah's midwife. His name,
Midwife?
Handmaid.
handmaid. Yeah, handmaid. And right now, this his name. They saying that it means true soldier and then good luck. I don't know about the good luck part, but
Where does it come from?
yeah.
Why is it? It has two meanings, but the one you're referring to, the good luck, where does that come from?
Rashai. I don't know the pronunciation.
I mean, where did that, because it's a school of thought behind that portion of the meaning of his name. Anybody know?
No, I have to look up what this Mouse Tower. Mouse Tower.
Genesis what? Genesis 30, what was it, 31?
Genesis 30:11.
30:11. Everybody turn there real quick.
Who that?
Turn to Genesis 30:11. Let's get his name together first.
Mazel tov.
Yeah, Mazel Tower.
And what they always say to you to look up Mazel tov.
I don't know.
30.
30 and 11. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get the meaning of his name.
Oh, how fortunate I am.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. So it depends on which version you're reading. So in 30, 11 in the King James Version, it says, Leah said a true comic and she called his name Gad. So that's where you get the meaning of his name, meaning a troop, a company, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or in their custom, when you're talking about a troop or a company, that is indicative of blessing because, you know, multiplicity, multiplying equals blessing. Okay, so that's where you get the name meaning when they start talking about blessing or luck or favor, good fortune. Okay, keep going. We gotta know what stuff means. We don't want to just run past it. Okay, so go for it.
We were kind of, I think, Leon mentioned already, he settled on the east side of the river. I take that personally as he took the easy stuff, but you know.
Not necessarily.
That's what I said, not necessarily. I might, they took, but they had opportunity to get, they didn't have to take that land, but they saw that it was good enough.
Prove it.
Because they said, Joshua, this is good for our pasture. And
Where you read?
hold on, I'm gonna turn it off and then read it. Before they cross. Let me see. Before they cross. It might be before Joshua's first chapter. Because it was still Moses was still around.
It would be Joshua.
It was still Joshua.
It would be Joshua would be Deuteronomy.
Right. So much slower with the digital. Sorry. Looking for the chapter. I think it's 28. 28. Okay, the altar is on 28. Let me look at that now.
You might be thinking about numbers. Is it in numbers?
Let me check check 28 again one more time.
Which, I'm sorry, what we're looking at?
I'm looking at when they first came across, they when the Israelites, I forgot the name of the people that were on the eastern side of the Jordan, but they once they destroyed them, they were like, "Oh, this looks good for us, and let's settle here." We don't, and then that was the whole time that Moses was like, "You make a covenant that you'll continue to fight and not camp out because you got your land already."
I think that was in Numbers.
Yeah.
Let me see. I remember reading that too. Yeah, that's in that's in Numbers 32,
Okay.
16.
Thank you. Yeah, the Midianites. The tribes of East Jordan. And okay, 16. It says, but they approached Moses and said, "We simply want to build pens for our livestock and fortified towns for our wives and children. Then we will arm ourselves and lead our fellow Israelites into battle until we have brought them safely to their land. Meanwhile, our families will stay in their fortified towns, and we build here, so they will be safe from attacks by local people. And we will not return to our homes until all the people of Israel have received their portion of lands. But we do not claim any of the land on the other side of the Jordan. We will let it live on the east side and accept this as our grant of land." So I didn't know that they had to still fortify it.
Okay.
So they did still have to build.
There's a story behind that, and we'll get to it. But go ahead.
Let me see. So Gad did fight. I don't know, they went, I mean, they did, I mean, from what we learned about, not Naphtali, who was it? Somebody,
I think it was the one before that.
Dan,
man,
Yeah, I was getting ready to name them all. Look at
I
me.
know.
go for it. Name them. Do it.
The list is long.
Reuben,
Reuben,
Simeon,
Levi, Judah,
fifth son.
is it Dan?
Mm-hmm.
Then Nate, and now
High five.
And Nate is the one I keep forgetting. No, not Nate, Dan, the fifth one. But that was the one who didn't get his land, right?
Nate got his.
No, not Nate, Dan.
That was bad.
Okay.
So, I mean, did they really do what they said they was going to do? I don't know.
And
Anyway,
who do what they said they were doing?
the eastern tribes said they going to stay to everybody in their land. I don't know what they really did because the other tribes like, we ain't had no help. So, I'm like, you know, I don't know.
But Gabe was pretty helpful. They were a pretty helpful tribe. They wasn't a selfish tribe. That's what I like about them. They, even though they inherit theirs, they still went to war with others because God promised them that inheritance. They was like, we're going to help you get your inheritance.
Right.
And they were obedient tribe. They did what the Lord said to do. That's why when Yana thought they were talking about build that altar, they was trying to keep the covenant that Moses said. If you do what I say do, there is plentiful, there's prosperity, there's more that you will get. So that's my second best tribe so far. They were faithful. And I like when
Was
They
like
were
this-
warriors. They were
Right.
mighty.
Good fighters.
Yes, I mean,
They
mountain
never
lion,
gave
take off
up.
your arms and
Yeah.
your leg. I mean, your tear off your arms and your head. They. I mean, you could depend. Even if they knew they was gonna lose their lives, they still was gonna go forth and help you get your. Because God promised them that.
And they just think they were warriors and fierce, but they talk about the land that they were given was beautiful and fertile.
Right.
And you wouldn't think of warriors as having land that's beautiful and fertile because you think of farmers, and stuff. But these guys was like,
They knew. I mean, they was. I don't want to
well,
say
we
savage.
can farm and stuff on the side.
And they had a nice sight, if you wanted to call it a sight, the water was there, the greenery was there. And this is what God said, they wasn't like the
They
other
never
tribes.
gave up until everybody
Got that?
was at peace and had their portion. Even though they had theirs,
Mhm.
they made sure everybody else was okay too before they decided to
Go back to their
settle.
tents, right?
Yeah.
Everybody.
What I like when they built the altar,
Mhm.
because this is what I got from it. Because the tribes were on both sides of the Jordan.
Mhm.
Okay. Like in Joshua 22, 10 through 34. And they built the altar not to worship, not to do burnt offerings, nothing to sacrifice to God, but they built the altar as a covenant between both sides of the Jordan that we're all one.
Right, they didn't want any division.
Yeah, we want to remind everybody that we're all one. We're not, just because we over here on this side of the river and you over there on that side of the river. You a different set of God's people. We're all God's people. We're all from the tribes that He blessed and made the covenant with Moses and Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. We're all those people. And it's amazing how the people were ready to, who they think they are. After they've been fighting for them and backing them up and making sure that they were okay. You got food, you got shelter. Okay, you got, I don't mean money, but what comes to my head.
They did get
But I'm
riches
just
and
saying, you got money to get groceries and everything. Are you okay? Okay, everybody okay? Okay, now we're gonna go over here on our side and tend to our land. People, it's like they forgot all about, these was your backup folks. Now you ready to jump in there just like, what you doing? You can't be building no altars over there. They didn't come, it's like they didn't come to them and ask.
But you know what? I think they had went through that so many times and they got torn down, got killed for doing that mess. I think someone was getting to learn their lesson about you just can't build no art. Enough is enough.
Holding each other accountable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they sent a representative over
Yeah.
there and say, no,
And
let's
ask
talk.
them
What's
first.
going on here?
Y'all
Because
doing. Y'all
Yeah.
gonna get us jacked up.
Yeah.
so they had some
Because
order about
that's
this,
exactly what they said. Hey, you get ready to, when God get mad, he don't just get mad at you, he get mad at all.
We want.
But it seems that the lesson is, for me, this is what I got, is the lesson. Because they were so faithful, like you said, they were so faithful to God. Really, they should have stood as an example to the rest of the tribes as to how faithful they were, because they were just like, focus, God. Okay, he's done all of this and he's enabled us to do all of this, but God is, this thing comes to the reason for the season, but it's just God. He's made us strong, he's given us this land, but ain't nothing else happening without him. We don't do anything unless, God, you all right with this? We want to go left. Is that okay? Okay. If God said nope, we ain't going left. I don't care what you say. We not going left. God didn't say that, so we
They
not
were
going.
obedient people,
And they were
obedient tribe. Yeah.
truly.
So how does that complement Gad's origin, or speak to his origin? If you all are saying, okay, Gad was faithful,
Mm-hmm.
Gad was diligent, obedient.
Mm-hmm.
Gad was, however, the only flaw that we can see so far is that Gad compromised and settled. But in spite of the compromise and settle, Gad still was faithful, obedient. How does that speak to or coincide with Gad's origin?
You're talking about origin, and then he was the second illegitimate son. They say
Oh man, he's still in. He's. How can I put it? He still should. I ain't gonna say should have. He could have got more. I mean,
What number child is this to?
this is number 7.
Okay.
But he came from handmaid.
Or is it in spite of where you come from? God can still
bless you.
work.
But they could have probably got a double portion or something if he. I'm rewriting the book. When you got the direct link, you get more. You know what I'm trying to say. I can't put it in words. It's something when she went that route, kind of messed the flow of it.
Self-help.
Yeah.
She helped herself, trying to outdo and overdo, because remember, she didn't need to do that. She could have children.
And she had children by Jacob.
She had quite a few
before she even got these.
And she decided she was going to do what she saw done someplace else with Rachel. Because remember, Rachel was the one that was loved. So it was like, well, he loved her and had these 5.
She already had 4.
She had 5.
She had 5, okay.
Because remember, Judah was when she decided, I'm going to stop trying to live for him, and I'm going to praise God for the blessings that he's given me. And then Rachel decided she was going to do what she did and have the baby with Bilhah, which was
Dan.
Naphtali.
Wasn't it Dan too?
No, his brother was Issachar.
We haven't gotten the Issachar yet.
No?
We haven't gotten that Issachar yet.
Okay.
Oh, so one on what we already know, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Say that question again then.
So she already had Judah. Mm-hmm. Judah was, okay, I'm going to stop tripping over what I don't have as far as him loving and appreciating me. And I'm just going to praise God and bless God for the blessings he's given me. She was doing good with Judah. Mm-hmm. Then Rachel comes in. Rachel has this baby with Bilhah. Who was the baby Rachel had with Bilhah?
Naphtali, whatever his name.
Naphtali. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so then now we have number 7, which is Gad, which is Leah's flipping again and start tripping again.
It's like she made it into a competition.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. She took her eyes off of what she had received from God, which is, I'm gonna stop tripping like this and I'm gonna see this for the blessing that it really is. You opened my womb and you got me having these babies like 40 going north. I appreciate you. I'm gonna worship you and praise you and appreciate you, God. And then now she's decided to employ the same means and method that her sister is using. And so now she's like, okay, well, it worked for you, so I'm gonna try it myself. And now we have Gad. And Gad, in his bloodline, we got some compromise. We got some stain. However, we still got some grace because he's number 7.
Which is the number of completion.
It's his number of completion, and it's also, what else is it? It's the number of the divine. It's the number of completion. It's also the number of divine. And so, why is it the number of completion? Let me ask that.
He rested on the 7th.
Okay. Everything was done on the 7th day, and Okay, that's a good homework question then. So that'll be a good homework question. Then, so then we have him as being the seventh, but
What's the point? Why is it the nine?
what's the significance of the number 7?
Okay.
So also, but he didn't allow how he got here and the ungodly investment that was made in his DNA to supersede who he really was, who they really were going to be, and who they were really going to be produced by. Now, in your study time, who was Gad always with? Reuben.
Reuben and Simeon.
Always with his big brother, their big brother. And they ended up settling together. Correct? Okay, so that's noteworthy as well.
That's who they always fought with too. Whenever they
With the
went
battle.
out to fight, that's who they were.
What was the issue though with Reuben? Reuben had a problem. We had problems, great problems with Reuben. Big problems with Reuben.
What they say is something about water.
He was unstable like water, but what did he do? Remember
He
he
slept with his dad's
concubine. Which one was that?
Bilhah,
Right. So he slept with
Rachel's.
Rachel's concubine and acted like his daddy didn't know and wasn't gonna say nothing. And he ended up losing his favor as a result. So we see he's anybody find in their study time or come across. Remember when we were doing the overview during week 1, I gave you all I sent it to you all too and showed you all the groups of people that matriculated from
The different tribes.
from the tribes. Did anybody see what group of people matriculated from Gad?
It was an Native American.
Native American.
Native American.
Uh-huh. And that makes perfect sense when you see the quality of people and the activity of the people.
They were warriors.
They were
Took it out.
fierce.
Yeah.
They were fierce, which makes sense.
Scout.
It makes sense. They didn't play, and they were absolutely not punks. Anybody else want to say before I go into the stuff? No? Okay.
No.
So I'm gonna start. Rather than looking at my notes, I'm gonna look at this thing because I like it. Did anybody find any notable people, biblical people that came from the tribe of Gad? No. Elijah, the prophet Elijah, was from the tribe of Gad. Turn to First
Elisha.
King. 1 Kings 17:1. Now and Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, also said to Ahab, as the Lord God of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall be no rain or dew in these years, but according to my word. So if you look up Tishbite, all the good stuff, you'll see where, again, he was from. He was also of Gad. Though little was mentioned of the tribe of Gad in the Bible, it was a lot actually mentioned. But like in Genesis, it wasn't a whole lot of activity with him and Joseph. It wasn't a whole lot of activity with him and his dad. It wasn't a whole lot of activity in those. But as he produced children, he also another good fact about Gad is other than trying to remember which brother this was. I'll remember in a minute. He was the second. He was the seventh son, but he had the most sons among the 12.
Oh.
The second to the most. It was one other brother that had more sons than him. He was the second most. You know what I'm trying to say? I think Gad graduated from the proverbial school of hard knocks. His difficult experiences produced a toughness that only hard times can bring. One of the benefits that we can see from Gad is no matter what they went through and what they experience, they learned something from it. They didn't just go through stuff and then keep doing the same stuff over and over like Dan did and like Reuben did, or the Reubenites, the Danites, and some of the other brothers' children that did not produce well. They learned something from their experiences. So it says something about a person or a people who go through, make mistakes, but then at least you produce something from what you went through. And so that's something that we can take from them. The most profitable lessons about suffering and adversity are learned not in the classroom, but by undergoing the experience through the suffering. And so if you are, as Bishop Gordon would say, not coming under Christian experiment, you're not a Christian experiment, but you actually have Christian experience. You learned something from your experiences. And you're not, okay, I'm just walking around here a Christian experiment, but I really have some experience with Christ. I have some experience through the things I've gone through. Then you're comparable to the Spirit, have the Spirit of God. They were always prepared, and no matter what foe they encountered. That's a big deal to have spiritual readiness. That we always need to, no matter, even in their compromise, when they were hit and faced with, okay, yeah, y'all want this land instead of crossing over the Jordan and doing this way, you spied out your own little stuff and you gonna take this, okay, they could have been faced with, well, no, we won't do that. We ain't ready to do that. They said, oh, okay, no problem, we'll do it. They were prepared for whatever they had to encounter, regardless of whatever they encountered. And that's something to be said that we need to be as well. We need to be prepared for whatever engagements. I mean, how do we do that? How do we stay prepared? We stay connected. You stay plugged in. And when you recognize that you are not plugged in, you plug in. It goes to speak to about not hearing anything about them during this issue with Joseph. During the issue with when they're quiet, you kind of would glean what's kind of going on. The people that you hear their voices in the stories or in the recordings rather, they was doing bogus stuff. They were either doing really good or doing really bad. Gad was still kind of in the middle trying to figure out what they were gonna do. And so that kind of speaks to their ability to learn and to grow, because what they produced out of their middle ground stuff, they ended up kind of saying, that ain't the way we want to go. So once again, they learn from their experiences. So I enjoyed going through the battles. Turn to Numbers 31. Let me just read through this. This was talking about them and their battle with King Sihon. Did anybody read through that? Read about that? King Sihon.
No, I didn't read that.
Gad and King Sihon. Okay, well, before we do that, turn to Deuteronomy 33, 20 and 21. This is actually the prophecy, the blessing rather, of Moses over the tribe of Gad. Deuteronomy 33, 20. Excuse me. Then from there, we're gonna peruse this Gad and King Sihon.
And of Gad he said, blessed be he that enlargeth Gad. He dwelleth as a lion and teareth the arm with the crown of the head.
Pause. Lion and tearing. Lions are great among Israelites. And then the fact that they're tearing heads, that speaks to their level of fierceness. Okay. Fierce warriors. Because remember, what other tribe had a blessing or a prophecy about a lion? Judah. Okay, go for it. Y'all doing good. High five, y'all.
And he provided the first part for himself, because there, in a portion of the lawgiver, was he seated, and he came with the heads of the people. He executed the justice of the Lord and his judgments with Israel. And of Dan, he said, Dan is a lion's whelp.
So that was Deuteronomy 33, 20 and 21. So based on the blessing of Moses, and hearing again what the Lord said about them. When we are going to this, we're getting ready to read through now the whole encounter with King Sihon, and Sihon was a bad king. He was doing some things. Turn to Numbers 21. 21. Numbers 21. And Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites. So Sihon is who's king? Okay, Amorite king. Write it down.
Where are you
That's
at?
important for your homework. Numbers 21, 21. Trying to give y'all some clues here. Amorite king. Saying, let me pass through thy land. So who sent these messengers?
Israel.
Okay. Who is Israel?
Jacob.
Okay. We gonna let it go. So let me pass through thy land. We will not turn into the fields or into the vineyards. So now at this point, recognize that actual Jacob is dead. Okay. So when it's speaking of Israel, it's speaking of all of the collective tribes of Israel. Okay. It's not speaking of Jacob anymore. Jacob is dead. Okay. So we will not drink of the waters of the well, but we will go along by the king's highway until we be past thy borders. Anybody know what the king's highway is?
I know the song.
Walking up the king's highway.
Where did you get that
Damn, it had nothing to do with the king's highway.
Is that land that we talked about, that long line?
That was the road called Straight. That was Straight Street. Put me on Straight Street. Get on the right side. All these songs we sing, we don't know what we talking about. All this stuff we say in the church, well, you know what we talking about. Oh, anyway, put that in your notes. That's something to look up in your homework. What is the King's Highway? There's a definite answer to that. It's a very simple answer too, but I ain't telling. And Sihon would not. This is Numbers 21, 23. And Sihon would not suffer Israel to pass through his border, but Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Israel into the wilderness, and he came to Jahaz and fought against Israel. So what's the problem here? The Israelites are still in the wilderness, okay? They sent some people before to be courteous, responsible, and respectful, and ask, can we go through this way so we don't have to do what?
Walk around.
Walking up the King's Highway. Anyway, so instead of going through the King's Highway, they go to this king and ask, which is the proper thing to do, can we go this way? And he said,
No.
no. And instead of just saying no, what does he do? He goes and sends a group of people to fight the Israelites. Wah, wah, wah. Anybody that been in a position where you do things the right way, and you're instead of met with sure and blessing, you're met with the people who you are attempting to do well by, they end up not only cursing your behind and prohibiting you the access that should be a big deal, but now they launch an attack against you. Ooh.
And so what do? Immediately turn to God. Okay, God, I'm giving this to you. I did what you had told me. I asked. I was being polite, and I asked.
And 24 says, and Israel smote him with the edge of the sword and possessed his land from Arnon unto Jabbok, even unto the children of Ammon. For the border of the children of Ammon was strong. And Israel took all these cities, and Israel dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon, and in the villages thereof. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who fought against the former king of Moab, and taken all his land out of his hand, even unto
Arnon.
Thank you. Wherefore they that spake in Proverbs say, come into Heshbon, let the city of Sihon be built and prepared. For there is a fire gone out of Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sihon, that hath consumed Ar of Moab, and the lords of the high places of Arnon. Woe to thee, Moab, thou art undone, O people of Chemosh. Chemosh, remember, is a god. He hath given his sons that escaped, and his daughters into captivity unto Sihon, king of the Amorites. We have shot at them. Heshbon is perished even unto Dibon, and we have laid them waste even unto Nophi, which have reached into Medeba. Thus Israel dwelt in the land of the Amorites. And Moses sent a spy out to Jazer, and they took the villages thereof and drove out the Amorites that were there. And they turned and went up to Bashan, and Og, the king of Bashan, went out against them, he and all his people that battleth at Edrei. And the Lord said unto Moses, fear him not, for I have delivered him into thy hand, and all his people into this land. And thou shalt do to him as thou didst to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwell in Heshbon. So they smote him and his sons and all the people until there was none left alive, and they possessed this land. What's the lesson in this?
Guys, vengeance is mine, says the Lord.
He'll take care of your stuff. He'll fight your battles for you. But you have to engage in the warfare. And the fear not, you saw the fear not, the Lord said, fear not. So I had to show you the time when you did things right. And all of this history that this King Sihon had about, he took over Moab, he crushed those people and all of this type of stuff. And because you did things my way, and you were upright before me, and he didn't do well by you, now I'm giving you what you need to utterly destroy the same one who destroyed your other enemies. Okay? But you got to engage. And then after that, it was another one that came up, and it's like, okay, what you gonna do about him? Don't fear that one either, because I already showed you what happens when people come against my people. And I'm gonna take care of you, and I'm gonna take care of them, and I'm gonna take care of everything that concerns you. So go ahead and do what you need to do, because as long as you in right standing with me, I got you. So again, in the blessing, it states that the leader's portion was kept for him. That's a big deal, because remember, he was half. He wasn't a full. He was a concubine.
I can't find it. I can't feel sorry for him.
But because of his integrity and his willingness to do the will of the Lord, and his heart was right, and he was willing to learn and grow, the leader's portion was kept for him. So the Bible, again, doesn't explicitly state that the tribe played a major role in this particular battle, but the location of their settlement of the land indicates that they played a key role. So remember, they were east of the Jordan, and because they were east of the Jordan, if you ever look at the map, it was this particular place or area where this battle was fought. It was, okay, so the place that they got east of the Jordan, Gad was on top, underneath them was Reuben. That was their allotment. So where all this was going was in Gad and Reuben's, all of this battle was through their territory. Okay, so it stands to reason that they played the tribe of Gad, because this was there.
I got a map.
Okay, you want to pass it around?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in Numbers 31 and 8, flip over to that. Somebody read that. Somebody read it.
And they slew the kings of Midian beside the rest of them that were slain, namely Evi and Rekem and Zur and Hur and Reba, 5 kings of Midian, Balaam, also the son of Bor, they slew with the sword.
Okay, now flip over to Joshua 13:21.
Joshua 13 and
21. And read that. And all the cities of the plain, and all the kingdoms of Sihon, king of the Amorites, which reigned in Heshbon, whom Moses smote with the princes of Midian, Evi, Rakim, Zur, and Hur, and Reba, which were the dukes of Sihon, dwelling in the country. Okay, so both of these scriptures speak of the Midian kings that paid Sihon tribute. They were associated affiliated with him. Flip back to Numbers 22:1 real quick. Numbers 22:1. And Joshua, and the children of Israel set forward and pitched the tents, pitched in the plains of Moab on the side Jordan by Jericho. Okay, so we see where they was landing for the moment. And if you can look at the map and follow all these different things, you see the territories that they were in. Okay, and where they were moving around. So Og and Sihon are mentioned together throughout these different places that we see, throughout scriptures in the books of Nehemiah, Psalms, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, 1 Kings, and Jeremiah. They're mentioned more than any other kings of the conquest of the Israelite army that they encountered. So Sihon was a big deal, big deal. All indications are that the fierce tribe of Gad was at the forefront of the battles with these two kings. Sihon's army was an impossible obstacle, or seemingly impossible obstacle, to Moses and his people. Our artifacts show that the Amorites, their symbol was oaks and cedars, which means that Sihon, which was the Amorite king, was saw as being insurmountable, big, and strong, because that's what is it? Girl, you may think someone's crawling the moon. I don't care about that. Thank you. As long as it ain't nothing about to touch.
You want to roll them.
As long as it wasn't you can't do nothing to them. So again, the Amorites were of great stature, they were cruel, and they were ruthless warriors. Sihon belonged to the Rephaim, and even fiercer people that were associated with the Nephilim. Anybody know what the Nephilim are?
You talking about the mountain people?
Ah!
Yes, the
Nephilim.
Yes. Okay, that's the mountain people. I can't. I don't have my notes, but they did a lot. They was supposed. I don't know how I got into that, but that was a gun trap somewhere else. I did.
Okay, write that down in your notes and look that up.
I remember
Nephilim, Nephilum, Nephilim. Now, Sihon again belonged to Rephaim, Rephaim, and they were an even fiercer people that were associated with the Nephilim. So Sihon came from Rephaim, Rephaim. So look up Rephaim and Nephilim, and look that up in your time. Okay, so Sihon's menacing response that he gave in Numbers 21 that we just read set the stage for the heroics of this tribe, as it was talking about in Moses' blessing. So there's another little note there. When you receive a word or a blessing from the Lord, it don't always manifest itself in the way that you think, and it doesn't always manifest itself immediately in time. Because remember, the prophecy was that they were fierce, they were lying, they was gonna snap the head. I'm paraphrasing. They would snap the heads off their enemies and all of this other type of stuff. The other portion of their of the word that was given was that blesses the person who enlarges Gad. Blesses the person that blesses Gad. And so the opposite of that would be curses a person that curses Gad. That's kind of the implication there. So we read that, Numbers 21-23. One must wonder if the entire army included draft military units from these kingdoms, both east and west of the Jordan. Again, if you look at the map, you'll see kind of where all of this conjecture is coming from. The Israelites captured all of the cities of the Amorites, including Heshbon, which is the city of Sihon. That was Sihon's city. This was a miraculous victory authored by the power of God, because this was a prime opportunity for God to test the faithfulness of his people. All indications are, though he was angry at Moses for striking the rock, God still had confidence in his servant. His people, however, were always in question. So another one. Remember, at this point, Moses had jacked up. And, God told him, okay, because you did what you wanted to do and not what that still just burdens my heart. Like, Lord, why you didn't give him mercy on that? He made one mistake, Jesus. He did everything else well. But he still, even after that, allowed great victory to come through his hand. So the tiny band of desert wanderers engaged the warlord of all the land in their first major military encounter of any significance in their 40 years. This is their first major thing. So you will see why the Lord kept telling them, don't be scared, because this is your big moment. This is my big moment. This is your big moment. Okay. And then after they defeated this big old king that had wiped out Moab, he tells them, don't be scared, because every other one every time you do what I tell you to do, the way I tell you to do it, they all gonna be just like Sihon. Okay. So that's encouraging. Deuteronomy 3 gives us more of an in-depth account of the defeat at Og.
And Og is something special about him because he was mentioned in Revelations.
We ain't got that. And Sihon, and the land divided against the Transjordan tribes. The total destruction of Og and Sihon is fully revealed by Moses in the passage from Og that they left no survivors, taking all of Og's 60 cities. So not only did they get the cities, and not only did they get and I think this is something that we need to stop and think about as well. The great victory that the Israelites had in just those two battles. Those were two big deals. Big deals. They're fresh out the wilderness. Not even out the wilderness yet. Remember, they're trying to get passages to go through to these different places. And the Lord gives them great victory in these two places. It would stand to reason you got these two great victories. Why would you not obey God? Why would you not trust him? Why would you be scared of anything and anybody when he has shown you the biggest giants, the cedars and the oaks of all of these people? I have given it to your hand from jump, fresh out of the place of the wilderness. You still wet behind the ears. Now, yes, 40 years that y'all been doing this. But by now, something should have been, your sandals ain't wore out. Y'all ain't starved. Even in the desert, I done provided water for you. You may not have liked the manna, but it was fresh every day. You may have gotten tired of eating this bread, but it wasn't molded up.
It wasn't leftovers.
We do that. We come through these great victories. We dance and sing and shout, and I got a testimony. And then we get a paper cut, and it's like, oh God, can you take care of this? It's like, you forgot? You forgot how all of this works?
That's what they said right on my heart.
You forgot all of this, how all of this works? You forgot that in spite of you, all of the stuff that I brought you through? You forgot that right now you should be good and dead. You forgot? And you think that at this point, I'm going to stop being God. And I don't have no more power. I have exhausted my goodness. I can't do nothing else because my hands are tied. Because it's based on you now. You got to take care of you. You forgot? Let me know how that works out. We do that a lot, and we have to get ourselves together and continue to rehearse what God has done and what He has said. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Their destruction of Sihon was total. That's another thing. What God does brings great victories. He does not have to do the job. He completes it and He annihilates our enemies once and for all. You know, I can't remember which place or which victory this was in the Bible that it talked about. You know, you're going to overwhelm this enemy, and you'll see them no more. That's the kind of
when they were coming to get ready to cross the Red Sea.
I don't remember which one it was.
Because
But that's the victories of God. When we complete and finish the assignment of the Lord and really allow God to do what He wants to do in our lives, He finishes the job. And we don't have to keep going over and over. It's when we have to do it or don't let Him finish. He that has begun a good work in us is faithful to complete it. When we allow Him to finish what He wants to do in the areas of our lives, we don't have to keep fighting those same battles over and over and over again. It's when we have to do it, don't get what we're supposed to get out of it, don't have the spirit of Gad, and learn from the mistakes, learn from the things that we encounter, good, bad, and indifferent, and we begin to cycle through stuff instead of using, the opportunities to learn something from it and move forward in it and be greater and stronger and even more victorious in it, like the tribe of Gad did. Or we end up cycling over and over and over and over. And we may take 2 steps forward, but then we take 4 steps back, and 2 steps forward and 4 steps back. And that ends up developing, anybody want to guess? A double mind. Because if you moving forward and then moving back, and then moving forward and then moving back, and then moving forward, and the Bible says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, number one, and he need ask nothing of the Lord, because you ain't gonna get it, because you don't even believe. Because when you believe, greater works will you do in my name. Nothing's impossible to him who believes. Belief is powerful, and it's actual, and it's activated, because when we activate our belief and we activate our faith, we should see the evidence of what we say we believe in. You telling me, oh, I believe God, I believe God, I believe God, I believe God. But every time I look up, your hand is out and you beg and you broke and you busted and you disgusted and you crying and all of this kind. But you believe God, you believe God, you believe God, you believe God. There's always evidence to our belief. It can't help the word. These signs shall follow them that believe. There's something moving with you when you believe. It's some evidence. It's demonstration. When you don't believe, you see that too. Have you ever been around people who talk a whole lot of Jesus and you don't see none of it at work? Oh, I'm sorry. And these signs shall follow them. The Lord has been really dealing with that. It's so funny because people be talking to you and they be, yeah, Jesus is the Lord, and the Lord told me, and the Lord told me, and I said, and I'll be looking and I'm like, oh, okay. And He'll say, and these signs shall follow. What's following him? What's the evidence? And it's like, oh, okay, thank you. And then with me, He'll say, what's the evidence of that? What's your conversation? Is your conversation meeting the evidence? Check your faith. What you producing in that area? Because if you believe what I said, what are you speaking to that? And what are you producing through your faith? It's like, you got it. You right. Okay. It's an area where it's some unbelief. Let's search it out. Show me where it's at, because we're going to deal with this. I need to see the evidence of what I'm saying I believe. There's the evidence of what you said you believe. I believe God to provide. What's the evidence? Are you still trying to rob Peter to pay Paul? Because you don't believe that He's going to do what He said He was going to do, and you really are walking out, okay, God, I'm doing what you told me to do. I'm giving where you told me to give and sowing where you told me to sow. I'm not doing this. I'm doing that, and I trust you with the rest. I don't see it, but I trust you. Some kind of way He always makes a way, and I ain't got to be sitting in the back room rocking and praying and saying, okay, maybe I can borrow $60 from so-and-so and pay. These signs shall follow them that believe. What's following you? What's the evidence? other areas of our lives. If you say you believe that God is going to take care of your family, right, but you're trying to figure out what's the next thing to do to draw them in. And let me study this word so I can be able, you know what I mean? What are you doing? Are you trying to produce something in your own self, in your own flesh, in your own intellect, in your own way to be able to produce what you're trying to convince yourself that you believe? Or are you listening to hear, okay, God, because I believe, I'm listening for your voice to tell me how to navigate through all of this stuff so I can produce something out of my belief, because I believe you're going to do this. And however you choose to do it, I believe you're going to do it, but these signs shall follow. I need to produce something. So if I'm not producing, I don't see any evidence in the places that I say I believe, then I need to step back, ask you to search me, lay out all my cards, and show me where there's some unbelief, because I need to see some productivity in this. And I'm tired of talking about I believe it and not seeing no fruit. We gonna search this out. So Gad is actually going to be 2 weeks, because it's a lot more. The homework for next week. I'm going to give you the homework first, and then I'm going to, you have some side questions. The homework is, so the enemies of Gad, first we know is Og and Sihon. I want you to study those and come back with some more something from that the Lord gave you. The other, remember the Amorites? Study that. What's the issue with the Amorites? Even though Gad wasn't spoken a whole lot of in Genesis, oh, he's all up in here. Well, he's implied in a couple of places, but that's not necessarily. Oh, Benjamin was the only other one that had more sons than Gad. Benjamin had 9 sons. Gad had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sons. Also, I want you to research the difference between the tribes and the clans. What's the difference between a tribe and a clan? You all touched on Jordan River also. We'll wrap that part up next week. But I do want you also to read about Jephthah, Jephthah, Gad and the Ammonites.
And the Ammonites?
Ammonites, So we got Amorites, Ammonites, which was, remember Sihon was the, I'll give you a heads up on that. Whatever this guy's name is, this king. And the Ammonites, that's Judges 10 through Judges 12.
So we're supposed to study about Japheth, Gad,
One more.
and Amorites.
And then you got the Hagrites, Gad and the Hagrites. I gotta study it, so why can't y'all?
Spell it. I said spell it.
Hagrits.
You know what? I wrote that down, but I'm like, that ain't what she really said.
Hagrites.
That- when I heard it, I'm like,
These are all people that Gad warred with, were in battle with, huh?
Spell again, H-A-G.
Hagrites. That's in 1 Chronicles 5, 18 and 19.
He went to battle with
First
David too.
Chronicles what? First Chronicles
That's
5.
Hagar people.
I just knew that can't be right.
And then
First Chronicles what?
1 Chronicles Wait. Don't write the First Chronicles scripture
First
down.
Chronicles 5.
Nothing. Nope. Don't write that down. Because I don't have, that's just a bad line.
It couldn't be Haggai still because they weren't naming after a woman.
Hey, the Debonites, the Ruthenites.
Everybody was alike.
Well, look, Americans, Republicans, you know,
So
Canadians.
I wanted you all to study all of the ites that they were in battle with, because there's a common theme among all the ites. Okay. I want you to find the thread, put it together. And then also, as we stated earlier, I really want you all to engage with the Lord, asking him about, where you are in all of this, in your journey, really what it amounts to in your fear journey. Because we all should be progressing and taking more territory back from the enemy, back from our personal ites. After you do your study on these ites, see what ites you are, what ites you have. What's your fear ite? And where are you? And how are you engaging in battle? Are you learning and being like Dan and progressing from progressing in battle and in fierceness and accomplishing and taking territory and establishing in the places where fear used to beat you back into the place of wilderness? Or are you taking territories back and gaining ground with your ites? Amen. You did good. It's only 3:40. Okay. All right. So next week we'll do part 2 of Gad. We'll have our ites together. And I expect really, really, really good conversation to come from all of their battles, and look at her, and their understanding of their enemies and their ability to overcome and be victorious, and see how that comprehends and works with where you are in your journey. Okay? And make sure you write out, what are my ites? What are my ites? What are my ites? How am I engaging? Am I retreating or advancing? Okay? Because you're in your fear journey. When you confront fear, it's not going to say, come on, Pastor, go to the King's Highway. It's going to say, you got to be kidding. No. And it's going to go like Sihon did and go get all his warriors, and it's going to come and try to track you down. And either you're going to retreat back into the desert and allow it to overtake you, or you're going to fight and you're going to recover all. Slice their necks off and take their territory. Mm-hmm.
Don't matter.
But you have a choice. You have a choice. You can't be passive in this and think that you're gonna recover anything. You passive, you're gonna get got. Okay? So we gotta engage in battle.